Well, we certainly are delighted to have everyone here this year. It's a great opportunity for the whole entire ecosystem of players involved in driving the shift from static connectivity towards automated based dynamic connectivity services that are delivered over LSO, Carrier Ethernet 2.0, SDN and NFV. We brought together the entire ecosystem of players. We have more than 1,000 people registered from nearly 280 organizations and 35 countries. So we've really brought the full lineup of experts across the industry as well. And we have more than 120 speakers involved in this year's event. So there's a lot of coordination. We really appreciate patience of everyone. But the content I think that you'll have here is going to be absolutely fantastic. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the man who started it all more than a decade ago, Nan Chan. Nan Chan's going to kick us off, give us an overview about where we are with the whole third network vision. So. Welcome, Nan.
Good morning. Contrary to popular belief, I started this forum when I was 16, so just to keep that in mind. Don't happen a decade ago. So, what a beautiful day outside. Just to keep you guys inside, we ordered that, so just so that you know. Last year, before you, we actually launched what we call the third network, and I explain a little more. And what I want to do is give you a quick update on where we are as far as where we're going. So what a year it's been. I think the MEF, many of you as involved in, has made a tremendous progress. I want to give you a quick update on that. So one of the things that we've been looking at is the way how we, as the industry, especially the service providers in this particular room, how they would make money of this, right? So one of the things we are really looking at, if you look at on the left-hand side, they are buildings, which is signify the connections between different offices. That's one of the things. Obviously, we always say, well, that's the work we do, and be able to deliver quality connectivity, and give you the ability to be able to make money of that. And that's something we always do. We know we love to do, and we know how to do. And what really kind of interesting is also we wanted to be able to do is adding the ability to be able to connecting to the cloud. And that would have gave you the ability, gave all the stakeholders ability to be able to make more money on top of so to speak, pipe services. We always talk about. So that's one thing. And in addition to that, really also looking at, potentially on a third network could be able to deliver all the value-add services on top of it. So it gave you that ability to be able to, making more money. Especially if you think about all the cloud providers, they actually going to offer kind of some similar services. And I think we have the opportunity, especially the providers, the telecommunication service providers, to be able to offer these new services because they have the control over the end customers. And we have really had the opportunity to do that. And that's what the third network is continue to evolve. I think in the years to come, we want to complete this picture. Give the blueprint for the industry to actually develop new services and move industry forward. Speaking of moving forward, the foundation we have built, they're basically twofold. One of them obviously is the Carrier Ethernet, and we've seen that continue to grow, and primarily because a lot of them are replacing the TDM services we've seen today, but also need more speed, which you're going to see that here shortly, and on-demand services. Last and not least is really the rise of the cloud, which everybody wanted to access that. And the other foundation, which the MEF is building right now, what we call LSO, Lifecycle Service Orchestration. So what that is, what LSO is a set of capabilities and APIs enable the agile, and assured, and orchestrated services across multiple carriers. I think that's obviously is a vision we will put together. Those capabilities are listed there, say fulfillment, performance, control, assurance, usage, analytics, security, as well as policy. So we have just October quarterly meeting, we have just to complete our reference architecture actually passed. So for those of you interested in reading things coming out of MEF, yeah, that really is a good architecture document. Really outline the basic foundations of how the LSO will be interact not only between the different functions, but also potentially across multiple carriers with APIs defined. So we're really excited about that. One of the things that we talked about last year, and this particular year, and then really becoming obvious to us, is LSO is really spending across different part of the ecosystem of our industry. With ONF as well as the SDN NFV, we really see how the LSO would interact with the, for example, SDN controllers as well as the NFV manual, and we've seen that it continue to evolve. But we do believe that we can't do it alone. We have to work with other organizations to get it done, and LSO is one of the ways to deliver that service end to end, and that's pretty clear to the industry now. Also, we've seen that market momentum, and Kevin actually mentioned that earlier. We work with quite a bit of media as well as the analyst community to really helping to shape the overall industry and the market. And as you can see, there's quite a few analysts, and I believe all of them are here, and to really talk about how the industry is going to evolve and how the market's going to really coming out. And one of the reports from Reno Report is really showing the overall growth of LSO. One of the things I found is interesting is that not only you see there's a yellow one, there's a green one, or the orange one. They actually, you've seen the overall native LSO growth pretty significantly, but also most importantly, I think I see is really interesting thing is it really replacing the old OSS. That's as a migration path for LSO. So which is really interesting things for people to think about, how your OSS evolve, as we move to the new dynamic services. Looking ahead for a year before the Gen 16, more Ethernet. Obviously, the carrier Ethernet has continued to grow, and one of the interesting about this slides is really look at the the one on top, the red ones. Those are the 100 gig connectivity services. Clearly positioned to grow quite a bit. So that's really interesting. Oh, sorry. The other one is 100 gig certification, and there's a tremendous momentum in 100 gig. I think we had a debate in MEF saying, well, do we really need a certification for 100 gig? But turned out to be really well on demand, not only from the equipment vendors, which we see in here, but potential service provider perspective, and it's really kept catching on just because the bandwidth requirements getting so big, and the 100 gig as backbone continue to be part of the requirement move forward. More collaborations, which I talked about earlier. The MEF Unite program has been very successful in order to move the industry forward based on our third network vision and in collaboration with other organizations. One of the things we found is in a way where hasn't really been done before. Before, you have a different forums, you're sending liaison back and forth. That doesn't seem to be work very well nowadays. I think first of all, it's slow because the turnaround time is like 6 months. You're sending one out, they respond to the next meeting, and you get it back. It just takes too long. Now we're really helping each other in terms of having people going into different organizations where they meet and move things forward. And then also have people in different organizations, they potentially representing different organizations at each other. So we got this great synergy with many of these organizations. So we're really pleased to see that. So more cloud also. And this particular picture really just showing that how the LSO be able to do a cross-domain orchestration. So not only you have efficiency gain within a particular carrier when you deploy LSO, but also give you ability to be able to leverage each other's networks. And then that's actually is a kind of ultimate goal of LSO, give you that ability to be able to say you can order dynamic services not only on your footprint, but also across the world. That's where we see the biggest value in terms of moving industry forward. So we're really excited about that. And that I always use the example of how you be able to pick up the phone to call somebody across the world with the connectivity seamlessly happen in seconds. And when you're done with phone call, the connection disconnected and the bill gets settled. And then from Ethernet perspective or MPLS perspective, we wanted to get there. We wanted to be able to do that connectivity services on demand to give you the ability to be able to make the Ethernet services or any other connectivity services or value-added services on a transactional basis versus one-off. So it's a big vision. I know we're going to take some time to get there, but we wanted to make sure that we lead the industry to a place where we think is going to be a promised land. So lastly, not least, is this Gen 15 is a great venue for the industry to come together, talk about the dynamic services, third networks, and LSO, and SDN NFV. So we're actually really excited about it. One of the things that this is the first time we're doing it, I wanted to show this is about LSO hackathon. I don't know, for those of you who hasn't really been following, obviously the world has been transitioning into software, into code development, open source. And one of the things, obviously, from MEF perspective, we wanted to leverage that momentum, leverage people's willingness to contributing on an open basis. And a hackathon is an example of such, whereby we have a bunch of programmers coming in, developers, that actually just hack away of the LSO APIs. And lastly, not least, I wanted to thank everybody coming, and hopefully you enjoyed the conference. And feel free to stop any of the MEF staffs or any of the MEF board members, leadership, to ask questions. If you want to get involved, please do so. And throughout the program, we have so many things covered, so many aspects of the MEF development and as well as the overall industry. So hopefully everybody have a great conference. Thank you very much.